Welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast with Jacob Ayers, providing actionable content to help you along your journey to financial freedom through real estate investing. As the premier asset class, real estate has helped ordinary people just like you amass fortunes. The benefits of passive income from real estate investing will allow you to live a life you want. And now your host, entrepreneur, real estate investor, and apartment deal syndicator, Jacob Ayers.
Hi, and welcome to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast. This is Friday Fundamentals with your host, Jacob Ayers. Here we'll talk about a quick real estate investing topic, and I'll provide resources and actionable content for you to implement every week. First, I want to give a shout out to a couple 5-star reviews. Our first 5-star review from Harold Ree says Jacob does a great job of educating on real estate and gives some amazing tips. Jacob has a great style that keeps the content engaging and entertaining. Thanks for a great education. Another 5-star review from T. Adams says, as someone that has invested in real estate, I have found some great tips in the podcast. A must listen for those thinking of investing. Thank you for the great reviews. I'm glad you're getting value from the show. If you like what you've heard so far, I invite you to take a minute and leave a rating and review. By doing this, you provide me with feedback that I can use to make the show better and deliver content that you want most. It also helps the show reach more people, which in turn gives me more feedback to make the show that much better. So please, if you haven't yet, leave a rating and review on whichever platform you're listening on, from iTunes to Stitcher, Google Play, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn Radio. As always, if you ever have any questions or comments or want to hear something specific on the show, let me know. You can email me at info@jacobayers.com or connect with me on Facebook at The Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom. If you're ever in Houston, Texas, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to meet you. I value your feedback and I want to help you out in any way I can, so please, leave a rating and review. Previously, we talked about asset protection with Garrett Sutton. Garrett is a trusted advisor to Rich Dad's Robert Kiyosaki. Garrett and his team at Corporate Direct are experienced helping investors just like you protect their assets. You can make Garrett a part of your own team. If you missed the show, I encourage you to go back and listen to it. Now, with listeners from over 15 different countries, I bring to you this week's episode of Friday Fundamentals. This week's Friday Fundamental is educating yourself. There are many people out there who want financial freedom but lack the capital and/or knowledge to get started. In fact, most people start here since few are born with capital and no one is born with knowledge. Luckily, all you need to be a successful real estate investor is passion and the willingness to learn. Today I'm going to share some of the best resources you can use to educate yourself. In today's age, there are endless resources at your fingertips. I'm going to share some podcasts and books that will accelerate your learning curve by learning from others. Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Now consider yourself already ahead of the pack. You're listening to this podcast, which shows your willingness to learn. Keep in mind, not everyone even knows what a podcast is. Imagine all the content that those people are missing out on. Remember that quote from Benjamin Franklin about investing in your knowledge? Well, I can't think of a better investment than listening to a free podcast. You can listen to podcasts while exercising, running, doing chores around the house, etc. Rather than listening to music or having the television on in the background, you can turn on a podcast and soak in knowledge. Another great investment is books. Business books and autobiographies are some of my personal favorites. Now imagine a scenario. You want to learn about, say, technology or starting a business. We'll just pick up the phone or email Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. Chances are you won't be successful in reaching those people. Or maybe you want to learn about someone who is actively buying multifamily properties and owns thousands of apartments. Well, call Ken McElroy or Grant Cardone. Chances are those guys are too busy doing deals and running their own businesses to take every phone call or email they get. So how can you learn from these types of people? Well, simple. Through books. You can go on Amazon and buy a book for around $10 that will give you insight to almost anything you can think of. So I'm going to give you a few of my favorite resources I have found valuable. Starting with podcasts. Get Rich Education by Keith Weinhold. This is the very first podcast I ever listened to, and it has resonated with me ever since. Keith preaches abundance mindset and expanding your means through sound real estate investing. Another one is the Bigger Pockets podcast. Bigger Pockets is a real estate networking giant. You can find almost anyone involved in real estate on there. The podcast, hosted by founder Josh Dorkin and co-host Brandon Turner, interview a wide range of real estate professionals. And lastly, Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing by Rod Cleef. Rod focuses on multifamily, but also has a ton of experience buying single-family homes. These are just a few of the many real estate investing podcasts I listen to. With books, I found I was able to learn much more specific topics, much more like a lesson. Some books I have read and found useful are Rich Dad, Poor Dad. By now, you've heard many guests on the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast recommend this book, and for good reason. This book has the power to change your mindset and how you earn income. Some other books include The Book on Investing Real Estate with No and Low Money Down by Brandon Turner, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller and Dave Jenks, The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, Tax-Free Wealth by Tom Wheelwright, The ABCs of Real Estate Investing by Ken McElroy, The Advanced Guide to Real Estate Investing by Ken McElroy, Garrett Sutton's books, Start Your Own Corporation and Loopholes of Real Estate, and The 7 Money Myths That Are Killing Your Wealth Potential by Keith Weinhold. These are just a few of the real estate investing books I have read and I recommend. So why does one need to educate themselves? Well, for one, knowledge is power. Education will open up new doors and even ones you didn't know existed. Think about your path that has led to where you are today. It probably involved education in some capacity. Maybe it's a college degree that landed your current job, or maybe an interest in a subject that you studied and became an expert in. Maybe just a hobby that you spent a lot of time doing. Education is the foundation to success. When it comes to education, there are 2 mistakes people make. The first is never getting started towards achieving their goals because they lack education to get there. And the other is the opposite of rushing towards your goals without any education. While acting is important, you must act armed with knowledge. You must never stop learning. You must continue to grow, expand, and learn everything you can. At the end of the day, all you have is the knowledge you've accumulated in your lifetime. Make that asset as valuable as possible and you'll achieve great things. That wraps up this week's Friday Fundamental with Jacob Ayers. If you're getting value out of this show, please let me know by leaving a rating and review. Please subscribe to the show to be notified of new episodes. You can find the show now in iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn Radio. As always, we have some great guests lined up over the next couple weeks. I'm going to continue to give shout-outs to people who have reviewed the show starting next week. I look forward to reading your reviews. As a thank you, I want to give you a free gift. Click the link to redeem your free Audible trial and free audiobook of your choice. And also, please let me know if you have any questions or comments. After all, I'm here to help you, and that's where I want the focus of the show to be. So please, if you have any questions, drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. You can contact me at www.jacobayers.com in the Contact tab, or email me at info@jacobayers.com. Till next week, signing off, I'm your host, Jacob Ayers.
You've been listening to the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom podcast, providing you actionable content to build your real estate empire. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for personal advice. The opinions of guests are their own. Information is not guaranteed. All investment strategies have a potential for profit or loss. The host is operating on behalf of the Real Estate Way to Wealth and Freedom, LLC, exclusively.